Quick public service announcement here from future Tepid Coder. I just ordered a new membrane keyboard that should be a bit quieter. I'm saying this as of 2024-08-06, and it should arrive on the 10th of this month, so in 4 days. With that said, I have videos scheduled released 2 to 3 a day, kind of varies, until the 12th. This one will probably be, I think, on the 13th. I don't know if I've done 2 for the 12th yet, but know that I'm still making videos, so my clickety-clackety loud keyboard is still going to be in the videos for a little while. But yeah, hopefully that will be less of a problem in the future. Anyway, on to the video. Hello, this is the Tepid Coder here. Today I want to revisit the parser I made earlier. It's like a config file parser. But this time I want to do it in completely idiomatic C++. So let's do that. I'm going to use iostream for my output, which is going to be like cout. You could also get, cn here. I'm going to use fstream to load the file. So this is going to be standard fstream instead of, file and fopen, fclose, fread, fseek, ftell. Okay, and now so I'm going to need to use string for storage. So standard string, or like standard, I'll use string, right? And I'm going to use standard, let me think here, map, standard map of a key and value. I'm going to do this standard map of standard string for the key and standard string for the value. Okay. Main. You don't need to put anything in the parentheses, like I said. It means a void function in C++. In C, it just means you aren't specifying the arguments, and you could have... I'm trying to think here. There's a different way of actually defining your arguments before. It's deprecated. It doesn't matter. Anyway, C++ programmers usually don't put the void in there. I like to put it just to be explicit that I'm not expecting anything. So first thing I want to do here is open a file. So we do it with what's called file stream. And in file stream, you can pass to the constructor, because it's an object, the file you want to load. It's going to be called loadme.txt. I've already copied this in for my previous example. Before we did RB for read binary, for fstream you have to use standard fstream in. I think you can also use standard ios base in. That might actually be for standard if stream, like input file stream. This is just a generic file stream that could be for input or output. There's probably also a standard, what is it, O file stream, OF stream for output file stream. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm using just a generic file stream. I'm using it for input. I could also say like an ORIN standard file stream binary, right? Don't really need to because it's text file, whatever. And these ORs here, they're basically bit flags. So imagine I have something like, I don't know, let's say I have uint at flags, and I say it equals 0b 00000001. And let's say that if this flag's set, it means that I'm trying to read the file. If it's not set, then I'm writing the file or something. Or maybe if it's 0, it's reading. If it's set to 1, it's writing. And over here, if I have this not set, it's going to truncate. But if I set it, it's going to append. That's basically what's happening. You have these different bits. And each of these is going to be a power of 2. So you can imagine like 1 equals 2 to the power of 0. And then if you have like 2, it's 2 to the power of 1, and so forth. So each of these is going to represent a different bit. So this is 1, this is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and then it'd be 256 once I reach the next byte, like first bit of the next byte. So they probably would define these with like an enum. And in C, if you have an enum, let's call it, I don't know, flags. I was going to call it blah, but let's say read equals 0, right? So if it's the first bit and it's not set, it's going to be 0. Or maybe it'd be 1 and you actually set it, or if it's going to be right, it'd be 2 or something, it'd be a new different bit. Whatever. You can have these different combinations of bits you can set. So it can be reading for binary, or you're going to write and you're going to truncate, or you're going to write and you're going to append. Anyway, what they probably do, if you just do this, read, write, append, or truncate, whatever, you have these different values. This would be 1, 2, 3 by default, right? What you can do is that you can say it equals 1, you can say it equals 2, or you can say maybe this equals 1 should be left 0 times, this 1 should be left 1 time, equals 1 should be left twice. So basically I'm saying, you know, take a bit right here and move it to the left. Now it's here, now it's here, now it's here. It just keeps moving over. Or I could even just be explicit and say 0b, 0000, 0001. And I could use over here, 0b, 0010, right? So, anyway. That's what's happening here with the flags. Okay. And this is in the standard namespace, and inside that it's in the upstream namespace. And then you have the name of the actual flag. Cool. Okay, so the file's open. Before, when I opened a file, I would say file, you know, fn equals fopen, ... right? And I would check if fn. I could do the same thing here, or I could say, like, if fs is open, right? So if the file's open. So I'll say if not file is open, then let's complain, because something went wrong. So standard C error, that's like doing a printf to standard error, right? So standard output is standard error. So I'm just going to do this. I'm saying error couldn't open the file. Okay, standard in line. And in that case, I'm going to return 1 to the OS, let the OS know that it was an error. Okay, so if that didn't happen, we continue along, and we know that the file's open. And keep in mind that this is a class object which has a destructor. So when this goes out of scope, since it's not a pointer, it's an actual locally defined variable, it's going to go out of scope right here. It's going to automatically close the file for us. So we don't have to worry about errors. Well, we have to worry about them, but we have to worry about closing the file when the error happens. Okay, anyway. Now I'm going to define some types here. String, standard string is line. I'm going to do a standard map. I'm going to store the keys and values. So it's a map of standard strings to standard string. I'm just going to call it a map. Be lazy here. Okay, what I could do is say while get line. This same function can be used on any kind of input stream, like standard cn, right? I could do standard get line, and then I could give it a string, like string line, right? And that would let the user type line. But you can also use it on a file stream. So I'm going to do fs for file stream. I define it right here. Check to see if it's open. Here I'm saying read from file stream. I'm going to read into it. Reading from it into string line. I could do this, and if it reaches the end of the file, or if there's like a hardware malfunction where it can't read the line, it'll just stop looping. But I'm going to say while true, and I'll be a little bit more careful with it, let's say. Okay, so it couldn't read the line. It failed to read the line, but I'm going to say if fs.bad. Now, this could mean like some kind of like hardware failure happened. Say there's a bad sector on a hard drive you're reading from. It might return this, because it failed to read for some reason. So in this case, we're going to say return 1 is actually a problem. We're going to let the OS know there was an error. Standard error. C error, right? Okay, and we're going to say error, unable to read a line from the file. So otherwise, what we're going to do is just going to break out of the loop. We couldn't read, probably it's because we reached the end of the file in this case. Okay, otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to say we have string, that's going to be key. Okay, we're going to have standard string, it's going to be standard value. And actually, if you have two of the same type here, you can define it in the same line. I've been not doing this just to make it explicit before, but in this case, I'm just going to show that you can give both of these the same type. You have to watch out, though, because if you have something like a pointer, like you do char pointer p, comma e, this is actually a character pointer p, but it's just a character e. You'd have to actually do this for each line, or for each variable. So watch out for that if you're doing pointers. I typically define each variable one per line just to be safe about that. It's better than making mistakes, but in this case I can't really make a mistake because it's a non-pointer type. Anyway, so at this point we have a line that we've read from the file. And what we're going to do is we're going to break that line into a key and a value. We have something like, let's say, width equals 100, right? So what I want to do is I want to split it on the token. So since I have a line, the whole thing's read up to here. What I want to do is I want to say stir key equals, I'm going to say stir line dot substir, and we're going to need to know where that equal sign is, right? So let's pretend we know that for a second. We're going to go from 0, the first character of the line, offset 0. So if we have, this is the first character of the line, to be positioned 0, we're offsetting 0 from that. So we're starting here. And we're going to go up to the offset. So the offset is going to be where we find this equal sign. Okay, so let's find the equal sign. We're going to say size t offset equals. Now, stir line has a method we can call, because string object is a class with a bunch of methods. It's going to be called find. And what you can do with find is you can actually say find a character. The character I want to find is an equals, and you can see where to start from. You can start from 0, but by default it already starts from 0. Okay, so you don't need to put that. So what we're going to do here now is check to see it actually found it, right? So if st offset equals string in pos. So if it equals in pos, it means it couldn't find it anywhere in the string. So we're going to break out. Actually, I'm not going to break out. I'm just going to continue the next line. And I'm going to say standard C error. I'm going to say warning, malformed line. And configuration file. In fact, I might even just like show the line, right? Let's do that. Maybe someone's trying to mess with the configuration file and fix it. They can see it's this line, you know. And if I want, I can even maybe do like this: ist line number. I'm gonna start with 1. Line based being, sorry, the line number being 1 based. Most people aren't gonna find line 0 being the first line as being reasonable. File on line, you know, whatever. Ist line number. Okay, and let's actually break this up a little bit. Online, whatever. Okay, and this is what was actually malformed. I don't want the \n. I'm doing this completely idiomatically. So then we're just going to skip on to the next line. Okay, and then every time we do a loop iteration here, we need to say st line number plus for the next line. Okay. So at this point, we should have the offset, because if we didn't continue back here, skipping the rest of the line, then it means that we found a position that was not in pos, not at the end of the string. So at this point, we can say we want a substring. So we're going to take everything from the string, starting from here up to the offset, but not including it. So it's going to grab all of this. That's my key. So stir value equals stir line. We're going to use substir again. And this time we're going to do offset plus 1. So we're going to start after this is found, after the equals, right? So it's going to be right here. And if I don't put an ending point, it's just going to go to the ending string, right? It'll be standard string in pos or whatever. And it'll just grab everything in the string. So now what I want to do is I want to stick the key and value in my map. So the map has a key which is associated with stir value. Cool. So now by the end of the loop, we'll have read every line, and for each line we're going to find where the equal sign is, and we're going to get the key, which is everything before the equal sign, and we're going to get the value, which is everything after the equal sign, and we're putting it into the map. Now we got to actually show everything. So we're going to do for const auto reference, and we're using something called a structured binding. I think this was introduced in C++ 17, question mark. But it lets you essentially break a standard pair, or really, sorry, it has to be a standard pair, but it lets you break something into multiple items. And typically, if I'm iterating through a map, what it will give me is a standard pair of, you know, whatever types are in my map, right? The key value. Anyway, so I actually could do this as well. Like, if I don't have structured binding, I could do const auto, and I could do pair from mmap. I'll show that first. Let's see, standard cout. I'm going to say key here. I'm going to say pair dot first. And I'm going to say arrow it's associated with. I'm going to say pair dot second. And then we're going to inline. Okay, let's try that first. Okay, so G++ parser.cp show parser iostream iostream I put stream iostream stream okay, parser. Okay, you can see it's printing everything. Birds annoying, clouds gray, dogs bark, whatever. So let's go over here. I'll show the other way to do it with the structured binding. So let's copy that and paste it. And then comment this one out. Okay. And this is a bit easier to use because instead of having to do pair first and pair second, I can just do key and value, KV, right? So let's try that. And that works the same, see? Just a little easier. Another thing you can do, it's even older, right? I'll put older, current, newest, even older. This is how you do it like back in the day. So it would be standard, your type, which is a map of string to string, and then it's a const iterator, because I'm not going to mess with it, it, I'm going to say it kv for key value, or it pair even, iterator of pairs, equals, I'm going to say mmap.c for constant begin. Now, I could just do regular iterator, and I could do just regular begin, but I'm not modifying the value, so I'm just going to use a constant iterator. So it pair not equals mmap c end. So while we haven't reached the end sentinel node, we're going to increment the iterator to the next position. So there's actually, if you notice, there's c begin and there's c end. Each of these returns a standard map kv, in this case const iterator, because it's, you know, c begin and c end. So end is going to be the first element after the end of the set, kind of like a sentinel. So if it reaches that, then we're not on a valid item. We're not on a valid item, bleh, and we're just going to stop the loop. Okay. Anyway, for each iteration of the loop, let's try and print this stuff out. This is going to be a little bit ugly, but we're going to do it. So what I'm going to say here is, after I have that quote, I'm going to go down here, I'm going to say it pair, and you're going to do arrow first. If I just do dot, it's giving me properties of the iterator object, which I don't want. That's not helpful to me. If I do arrow, I can actually access the properties of the underlying pair, which would be a standard pair of whatever's in the map, standard strings, and standard string, right? And the pair has properties like first, and it has second. So that's what I'm doing here. First and second. Okay. Okay, pair's not... Where did I put pair? I put pair somewhere. Where's pair? Oh, right here. Jeez. And it works. So, same thing. So, I would recommend doing it this way. That's all the cool kids are doing it now. But hopefully you can see that this is a lot easier to do than the way I did it in C. Mostly just because we don't have to worry about closing our file handle on error. We don't have to worry about freeing a buffer when we have any kind of problem that we need to handle. Anyway, if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, whatever. If you have any feedback to give, whether it's criticism or, I don't know, just a thank you or whatever, feel free to put that in there as well. I hope this was helpful to somebody, and I will catch you guys later.